This is a Looney Studios podcast. Hello and welcome to Aerde Talks. I'm Hunter Looney, the Game Master, and this show is here to dive deeper into the world of Aerde, which is traversed in Aerde Tales. I'm joined today by Leah, who plays Gamore, and Noah, who plays Jeffrey. Today we'll be discussing the latest episode of Aerde Tales and creation magic. So in this last episode, they woke up, sent Shay and Lynn back to your dad and father's house. Then the dragon family went off to just hang out in the forest and explore. Y'all went to some vulture bees, did something I did not expect to happen, and then went back to your dad and father's house and had a family flight.
That is what happened.
Yep. Quick summary.
Yeah. So I feel like I have a question right off the bat. And it's about Shay.
Okay.
So, like, I sent her off to my dad and father's house to not be in the fight.
Yep.
Because I know she, like, doesn't announce it to everyone that she can still, like, fight well.
Yep. Yep.
So, I guess my question is, like, I know that's, like, what's going on with her. So, why do you think she doesn't want people to know?
So that they consistently underestimate her. Like, she is in, like, big political meetings and stuff, like world politics and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, she has UN meetings. That's not what it's called, but global summits. Yeah, where she's, like, going back and forth with politicians and stuff like that. And not all of them are very magical or strong fighters and stuff like that. And so she likes to play off of that. So if somebody knows of her time in like in the war and stuff like that, then they might think that's just all she is and underestimate her there. But if somebody just knows her from being the princess of Desmodon, then they might underestimate her and not know she has, like, other abilities and stuff. Because she was, like, pretty integral part of that whole war 200 years ago to free the whole Aerde world from under the control of this one family that had conquered most of the world.
Okay.
For thousands of years.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think I just, like, with her being a pretty cool, like, female, like, hardcore female character, like, I think I kind of, as a woman, want her to, like, everyone to know it, but that makes sense.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why there's, like, a common tongue that's spoken, is because of that 200 years ago that was pretty much forced for thousands of years. So there's still going to be where you also see, like, other languages and stuff like that. But there's a common tongue that most of the well-populated areas speak because that was forced upon them. But yeah, I wanted her, like, you have seen how powerful she is. You know she is one of the most powerful people on the planet, probably, but also wields considerable influence both in the light as the third in charge of a whole country that is a pretty powerful worldwide country, but then also Shadow wields tremendous influence as the, like, head of the special forces that you all are a part of.
Yeah.
But nobody knows about that besides the people that work for her.
I feel like it's interesting for us too because, like, I did that because Jeffrey doesn't know and the dragons don't know. Gamora knows, and Salvazar knew, so therefore Noah knows. So it's like we still have to, character-wise, of course, play it like Jeffrey doesn't know. So I guess at some point we'll have to see if he finds out.
Like, he knows she is very powerful politically and influentially and has a lot of bank and whatnot.
Yeah, of course. I'm not saying there's only one kind of power. I meant like that he doesn't know that she can fight still.
Yeah, he knows she's in charge of the shadow part of the Desmodon forces.
Yeah.
But, doesn't know that she, in and of herself, isn't just really smart and in charge of the politics and the shadow organization.
Mm-hmm.
So, she didn't, like, all of the people in that, when he played the joke, none of y'all rolled well because you were asleep, and I rolled at disadvantage for them.
That's true. I wonder what would happen if Shay rolled high.
I think she probably would have, played asleep still and assessed the situation. And then that's what I would have done if she would have rolled
someone
on.
else handle it first.
But also just to see what was happening. Like, she doesn't feel fear regularly.
Yeah.
Like, even if this one entity is in there and was a real threat, she knows that the three of you all could handle yourselves enough that she's not really worried about it. She mainly wants to see how it plays out.
Yeah.
She takes a wait and see approach.
Makes sense. Alright, now I think you have a question.
Why did the wiggle butt dance work on the bees?
So, you know that, bees on our planet...
I know, but why did you let that happen?
I try to reward you all being
Talk
inventive.
about the bees.
I try to reward you all being inventive and being smart about stuff. I still left it up to the dice, so I had to think really quick what mechanically I knew real fast. That's going to be a performance. Like you doing a performance. It's going to be a performance check. So then I was like, but what should I make the bees do if they're watching this? And so I was like, maybe an intelligence check to decipher what the heck he's trying to say and if this is just a ruse and stuff.
Uh-huh.
They rolled good enough that I was like, I want this to happen. And I did, if they had rolled a nat 1 the first time, it would have just been that one wouldn't have approached you all. And then I probably would have had you make one more performance, and they would all have been watching you all. And if y'all had done bad or they had done bad, it would have been a fight.
Uh-huh.
But you did good enough that this one, one of them approached you. Then you all did okay. At least one of you did okay enough. And they did okay enough with the intelligence check that I was like, this happens, come on. This is hilarious. And then I was like, well, oh no, it worked. Now how do I get them out of here? Okay, let's just have them pick up the carcass and leave.
Yeah, I wasn't going to attack them right away, or Gamora wasn't, but I would not have thought of that. I was pretty impressed with Noah's quick thinking.
But now Richolas has a health potion, just in case.
True. That was good for that to transpire.
So there was, what did I say, 3 or 4 of them? I don't remember.
I'm pretty sure there were 4.
Alright, so you want to hear how they stacked up? I don't think you'll encounter vulture bees again. I made them have a health of 16.
Yeah.
Armor class 14. Because they're bees and shifty, but also have exoskeletons. They had a bite attack, which, because they had these huge mandibles on the front of them, that had a +6 to hit, so...
Oh, dang.
Yeah, and it only did 1d4 piercing, but it also had a 1d6 poison from their saliva that is used to break down meat to turn into like nectar that they can collect. So you would have had to do a con save of the DC 12. And if you had saved on that, if you would roll a 12 or above, you would have took half of that poison damage. So that's like something that could start adding up. But also, they also were vulnerable to smoke because you can smoke bees and make them chill. So they would have, if you had like done a fire and like winded some smoke over to them or something, it would have made them become nauseous, and it would like slow them down and make them roll at disadvantage and stuff against you all. So that's the vulture bees, which are a real life thing that turns like eats meats and turns that into honey and stuff.
Okay, that takes away one of my questions. Do they actually eat dead things?
So
in real life.
Okay, so this is gonna be a little gross for like a minute. So when I finish this sentence right here, okay, so real vulture bees, skip ahead, enter through the eye of carcasses and then start eating from there, and they'll take their mandibles and like bite off pieces of meat, put their saliva on it. That'll start breaking it down, and then they'll carry it, like eat it, to then vomit back up at the hive to make honey out of.
Okay.
That's my quick summary-ish of what they do.
Oh, that just felt like grossing me out.
And the honey probably wouldn't be safe for us to consume because it's from rotting meat. They want the meat to be rotted, but not like super rotted.
Oh, God. Okay.
Also, there's bees that cover like an attacker or whatever that's like small, like a wasp that's intruding on their nest, and they'll just like heat it up real fast, and the insect or whatever will die.
Like honeybees will make the nest get really hot.
Wait, no, I mean like actually covering them.
Oh yeah, they'll just like dogpile it to make it so hot that it's just like...
That's crazy.
They'll just be like, boop. Yeah. It's crazy.
Okay, moving on.
You don't like bees that much?
I don't want to talk about the
vulture bees?
That part again. So my question is kind of related to that though. Because I know when we encountered the bees and then I went and flew up above to see if they were actually leaving for sure. We were talking about how there was I don't know if you called it a farm near the end of the island.
Like, no, what is it called when you have bees and you get honey?
I do not know.
Beekeeping, I don't know.
Yeah, I think I said like it was a family of beekeepers or something.
Sure.
Like, what was your question for that then? Well,
yeah, it's about like the island. So in relation to that, I was kind of surprised that it took us, I think you had said like a couple hours to get from my father's house to the Willow Spire.
So that was like, okay, think about it if you were hiking.
I just like, my question, like, because I know this is a smaller town. And so I was like, oh, it's that big? Because I know it's small. So I'm wondering, are they at kind of opposite ends of the island?
All right, so let's just think of this as like a circle. That's not what the shape of the island is. But like that you use for darts, a dartboard. There we go. So at 12 o'clock on the dartboard is the port that you all came in on.
Sure.
That's the town that's on this island.
Oh, okay.
So then on the outer ring of the dartboard is where mainly people stay, but inside of the woods. The woods covers all of the island, except for little clearings where people might wanted to clear it out to put a house, or most of the people here will build treehouse type things or into nature and stuff. So the houses keep to the perimeter of this island, but inside of the forest. So then they can easily go out to fish.
So is the Willow Spire in the middle of that?
So the Willow Spire is directly in the center.
Huh.
As you get further in, the next ring on the dartboard, it's pretty thick forest that has trails, but people don't usually use those trails. They have trails that run the outer ring of the island that keep near the beach and vary like a couple 100 feet into the trees.
Yeah.
So next inner ring is about where your fathers are, and your dad and your father are at, which is like nobody goes there.
Right.
Nobody goes that deep into the forest and hangs out there. They built their place there because they wanted to study it and wanted to keep to themselves and do experiments and stuff and not be bothered.
Right.
So then you go in another ring. That is the ring that surrounds the Willow Spire. The bullseye is the Willow Spire. The next one out from that is where you built your tree house, which is deeper in.
Mm-hmm.
That's almost not treaded by people. Like barely treaded into where that trail that leads to your dad and father's house from the town.
Right.
Because they got to go into town every now and again.
They have to.
Yeah. But the Willow Spires hover, so they don't need to make a trail.
Mm-hmm.
So it took you all that long, mainly because you all were having to like make a path. And you had dragons and stuff with you.
Yeah.
If you just soared, it's like nothing.
Pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Okay.
I tried to make it like that because to show that there was use and disuse of the forest by people.
Makes sense.
I just wanted to say that Jeffrey is allergic to bees.
That's canon?
Yes.
So that's why he did that dance? Because he really didn't want to fight them and get hurt?
Well, these type of bees don't have stingers. So he probably would have been fine with these type of bees. But
who knew what he knew?
Yeah, he saw bee and probably assumed they had stingers.
That's funny though, no?
Okay, now we know.
Yeah.
I definitely won't use that against Jeffrey.
I wonder if someone is allergic to bees, if it bites them instead of stings them, if they're still allergic.
I have no idea.
Interesting. Okay, I got one last question. That was his question. It was just a statement.
Oh.
Yeah. Relating to flight as a spell. I mean, I feel like that's the first time in the game that I've actually, the Gamori's actually flown around instead of I usually just use it to hover and fight.
Because you've used it in such enclosed spaces where you didn't need to fly away from stuff.
So it was cool to actually picture us flying around, and then that made me wonder. Because I mean, we were up there for.
They probably cast you all probably cast it a couple.
That's
times.
What I was gonna ask.
That.
How long does it last? Because
we didn't keep up with how long y'all were flying around and stuff like that, so I just assumed either you or your dad would have recast it and stuff like that.
Okay.
And I wasn't being real stickler on it because you all weren't going to be fighting something.
Well, yeah, we were just...
generally. So I was more laissez-faire with it and stuff.
Also, two of us had the spell.
Yeah, that's why I wasn't worried.
We wouldn't have run out of magic points for sure because I hadn't used it. I don't think earlier in the day I hadn't used any magic.
You had used it to get you all back.
Oh, that's true. That was it. Yeah.
Yeah. And then you were mad that you didn't cast it when touching the tree.
Yes. Well, I didn't think of it until we started walking, and I'm like, oh, it's going to be that long? No, we're flying.
So what, I have a question. What I know we had talked about this off mic. You had thought Jeffrey was going to, like, do something harmful to the tree when he was approaching it with his sword.
Yeah. I mean, what else? Like...
I thought you were going to stab it.
Oh.
I
At
too.
first.
I thought you were... I thought you were going to take a piece of it. I thought you thought it's magical, like, I want a piece of this to keep with me.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I thought you were doing. And I was like, don't. And then you were like, I pushed the button with it. And we were both like, oh.
What made you think to do that?
I don't know.
You just...
Inference.
You inferred that it would probably do something?
Yes.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
And it led to something pretty cool. Like, Gamori had never... Like, she had touched it and leaned up against it, but never, like, cast a spell while touching it. So, like, you taught her something, and she'd been living here for most of her life.
Different perspectives.
Yeah.
Alright, so let's talk about creation magic some. Creation magic focuses on the animating of creations like statues or suits of armor. So the level 1 in that is...
Wait, so it's a type of animation?
It's... Creation magic is... Okay, it's not like reanimating corpses. That's not it.
Okay.
So it's focusing on animating creations.
Like inanimate objects?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, like, the first level spell is the de-animation. Like, you need to learn how to turn them off if you animate something. So the caster can target an object that creation magic has been used on and then dispel the magic's effect on it, rendering it inert. But then if you go to level 2, you can create magical restraints. So this is the caster creates magical restraints. Most casters choose the form as manacles, like old-timey handcuffs. To, like... It's kind of like how you can create rope, but this is, like, more tangible.
Which I learned that it doesn't have to be rope, so we'll see what it be later on.
So then
You're gonna get tied up with spaghetti next time you prank us.
Disgusting.
I don't think that would work very well. It'd be really slippery.
Yeah, and not strong at all. This is the strongest spaghetti you've ever...
Like braided spaghetti, but that'd still be super weak. Yeah, I'll have to keep thinking about
Stop thinking about nasty stuff.
Yeah, you were disgusted by the bees. I'm disgusted by this.
This is nowhere near as disgusting as that. We're just talking about slimy pasta.
And like how you don't like snakes.
Yeah, I already thought it could be snakes, but I don't think Leah can handle that, so it's not gonna be snakes.
Mm-hmm.
Now Hunter's over here plotting for there to be snakes.
No.
in the game now.
I'm not gonna do like they do on Indiana Jones.
I would never.
And he's like, why'd it have to be snakes?
Mm.
That's a little, what's the word? Hack.
Cliche.
Yeah, cliche. Alright, so the next one is create or animate object. So the caster targets an object that can be of their own creation or another, and it becomes animated and able to complete simple tasks. Now, this one is more like, I want to animate this treasure chest to walk. Something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Because you'll see there's other designations on stuff. So the next one is create or animate clay. So the caster targets a clay creation. This can be of their own creation or another, and it becomes animated and able to complete simple tasks. So if they made like a little clay doll and stuff, it could be walking around like Gumby doing stuff.
Wait,
like...
so what happens if you do that on a terracotta warrior?
That could work.
What is
Because
that?
that's like clay.
It's
I'm not bailing you out. You gotta.
Okay. So terracotta is a type of clay. Where terracotta warriors come from is from the first emperor or so of China.
Okay.
And they found it when they were deep underground.
They found what?
They found terracotta warriors because dude was afraid of the afterlife. and that
so he had
all the warriors that he defeated while trying to conquer China would come after him.
You teach me stuff all the time.
I watch weird videos on history.
So he made like a bunch of statues of these warriors out of terracotta and stuff. So, yeah, that could definitely be something.
You know what I thought of? I thought of Salvador should have had that last season because you said treasure chest. Like if there was a treasure chest too heavy to carry, you could just make it walk and be like, follow me.
So then we bump up to level 3 and we got create or animate toy. The caster targets a toy. This can be of their own creation or another, and it becomes animated and able to complete simple tasks. So if you have like a little like doll, you know, like, hey, I need you to bring me supplies so I can keep painting or whatever.
Toy Story.
Like, yeah, Toy Stories. And then they bring you
levels.
Sure, it's Woody and not a creepy doll. Okay.
Here's some
somebody poisoned the water hole.
Yep, exactly. That's what you test. Toy, go test the water hole.
Oh no.
And then it comes back and tells you that.
And also says that there's a little baby snake in their boot. But
Yeah.
yeah.
There you go. Snakes again.
Yeah, that keeps coming up.
Alright, so then you have create or animate literature.
You're gonna say litter.
So the caster targets some writing. And then brings that to... I put this... this can be of their own creation or another, and the essence captured in the text becomes animated and able to complete simple tasks.
Wait.
What?
So pretty much you did this because of Ice King?
What was the storyline in Ice King where Ice King did the... Was it his fan fiction?
Yeah, his fan fiction where he wanted it to become real, but as...
And then they just made an alternate episode.
No.
So, like, what's an example of something you would write?
What would be something you would write to be like, I want...
Literally, all you can do is write about a character. That character kind of comes to life, I think.
Oh.
There was a shadow that would help me as if it was a butler, and blah, blah, blah. Cast this on it. Shadow butler.
Cast a spell on the book, though.
Yep, and then the essence captured in the text. So, if you all had this and wrote down something, it would be up to my interpretation.
Oh god, that's
how it would work.
So you cast it on like a single sentence, though, like,
or page or something like that.
So if I were...
You have this spell. You have a piece of paper. You're writing with some ink. You need a thing to help you all. Boom.
You know what? A pink blob that can turn into... I want to... Wait, no.
You gonna make Ditto?
Yeah. That can turn into anything.
That might be a little OP, but okay. So, you cast a spell on it. It's up to the DM to... so, a little pink blob, the size of like a couple feet or whatever, because you said a little pink blob. It's much like genie rules, where I will use, and it is just bouncing there at you, and then you tell it to do something.
Turn into a gun.
It turns into
a toy gun.
It turns into like a musket, flintlock pistol, and plops down on there, and it's just a gooey flintlock pistol on the ground. It's still that goo, but it's
in the shape of a gun.
Yeah, of a flintlock pistol. Yeah. So you see how it captured the essence of what you said, and then it could do a simple task of what you had said, but it's only a 3rd level spell, so it's not like it's a level 6 spell to be super OP and stuff. All right.
Cool.
We got down a big rabbit hole from that spell. It's okay.
So then, level 4, you got create or animate art.
Ooh.
So this is like if somebody had it. Okay. The caster targets a work of art. and it becomes animated and able to complete simple tasks. So if you had like a portrait done up on the wall, it could animate and come out and do stuff. If you had...
So...
It's also up to my interpretation of what art is.
I would have someone draw a portrait of Salazar. Just put it up in my house and then be like, Salazar, come here.
But it also wouldn't have his consciousness, though. It would just be
I know.
Yeah. All right, so create and animate armor. That's what you have protecting your place. The caster targets a suit of armor that's not occupied. Obviously, they had to put that into the spell. It becomes animated and able to complete simple tasks. So,
yeah.
Had to put not occupied because that could be abused real easy.
Just simple. Like, can it make me like a lasagna?
You would have to say, like, cut up the pasta.
Cut up honey.
Like, like a simple task, you would break it down.
Okay.
Into simple tasks.
As much trouble as, or maybe more than doing it myself. No.
All right, so then you have level 5. You got create, animate, golem. The caster targets a grouping of materials. That grouping becomes an amalgamation of those materials, making a golem, which then animates and is able to complete simple tasks. I got this mound of clay over here. A boom! Clay golem.
I was thinking about something weird. Not swarm bees.
If you had a grouping of like water. Boom, water golem. Iron golem.
Crazy.
Flesh golem.
Ew.
Skeleton golem.
No.
No.
No. If you went to some messed up scientist's lair, they'd been experimenting.
Yeah.
And they just had all this leftovers. Then they animated it. Boom.
Alright, fine.
Alright. Create or animate statues. You've encountered this. The caster targets a statue. It becomes animated and able to complete simple tasks. So you had some that you encountered at the mansion.
Yep.
Also, those suits of armor were definitely animated too. And were set to trigger if you all carried out some of the chests.
I also remember I was super, like, untrusting of whether they were... Hold on, maybe not. I was thinking I thought they were going to keep following us or something. I don't know.
The suits of armor or the statues?
Yeah.
No, I think so. You shot an arrow at the statue.
Yeah.
It caught it and then went to steal. So it was fine because you were off the property and weren't really doing anything.
Okay.
What happened if we vandalized it?
Oh, it would not like that. It probably went nuts on you. If you had messed up anything in that garden area, or front lawn, or whatever you want to call it, yeah, they would have been upset. But y'all didn't. All right, so level 6. Create or animate techno-magical creation. So the caster targets a clockwork device. This can be of their own creation or another, and it becomes animated and able to complete simple tasks. So that could be like a little clockwork, little robot toy thing. Or a clockwork dragon.
Cool.
Or something like that. Alright, the last spell in the creation one is Enchanted Potions. The caster targets a liquid. With a successful casting, an enchanted potion is created. The caster rolls a d20, and the targeted liquid gains the enchantment from that list of 20 things. Fun times.
Okay.
They create an enchanted potion.
Pretty cool.
Yeah. So that brings us to the end of this episode of Aerde Talks. Let's take some time here at the end to go over some information. I want to invite everyone to visit patreon.com/Looney Studios. The link is in the description. There is a link there that anyone can submit a magical item that could appear in-universe. You don't have to be a patron to participate, and you can even participate anonymously if you want. While you're there, take a couple minutes to look at the Looney Studios Patreon. And if you become a patron, you gain access to the podcast early, among other perks. And thank you to all our current patrons. You help support Looney Studios and Aerde Tales. And our wonderful character art was made by artist Vampbite, and all of his links can be found at linktree/Vampbite. Go check his artwork out. The link is in the description. And Looney Studios can be found at looneystudios.com, and that's the social media platforms listed in the description. Please give a review on your favorite podcasting site, like, comment, and subscribe on YouTube, and submit magical items on our Patreon. The Looney family hopes that you have a wonderful day. That was a Looney Studios podcast.